Thank you.
Why, you gonna talk shit about him?
Yeah.
No, don't talk shit, man. If something funny happened, then yeah, I want to hear about it.
Okay, it is. There's a lot of funny things.
On missions, they called him Teacup.
Listen here, because I got some shit to tell you.
Now, he's telling the boys what he knows.
Wait, what?
This is Teacup Talks.
So first, I have to take care of a 6-year-old a lot because the 6-year-old is my boss's grandson, and they spend a lot of time at the shop. So, but he for some reason likes me. I think it's because I don't yell at him. Everyone else yells at him. I instead try and like teach him, right? Which is actually helping a little bit. So I took care of this 6-year-old all day from about 11 to 5. And throughout the day, he would come to me and be like, oh, I made a mess or whatever, and I would have to go clean it up. The worst part of the day, okay?
Wait, you didn't stop him?
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Like, all right, you made the mess.
No, it's like
why aren't you coming and telling me about how you also cleaned it up? Like, you're not helping him.
I can't reason with a 6-year-old like that, but also it's like the moment I turn my back, because I'm also trying to get stuff done, because that's the good part of my day. I've had these like big roadblocks in my way for the past like month, and I haven't been able to really get anything done. And now today, my boss pulled me in and was like, hey, what's going on? And I explained everything to her, and she goes, great. Gives me the go ahead to do my solution, and also takes the reins off and is like, oh, and I don't care what you do as long as it makes me money. So go forth and make money. So that was like the best part of my day, because I've been stressing about this for a month and change actually. But as I'm walking out, he says, hey, I found a mess in your office. I go, what?
The little kid?
Yep. Because he didn't interrupt me while I was with my boss, because he knows that. So I come out and he goes, I found a mess in your office. Okay, what happened? And he's like, I think one of your oil barrels, because I had oil jug spilled, because I had these gallons of oil that I'd already filled and set aside for a different job. So I go in there and I look at the floor, and it looks like oil. It's this like gold colored, stuff all over the floor. And I look at it, and he's like, as we're walking over there, he tells me, yeah, I tried to figure out what it was, but I don't think it's oil. I was like, what is it? And he goes, I don't know. It smells like dog pee and tastes like dog pee. He put it on his finger and licked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I get in the office and I look at this.
To make sure. He didn't want to be wrong, man. He didn't want scientific method.
I mean, okay, so I get in there. The oil barrels are covered in the stuff, and it looks like oil. So I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. But real quick, I'm just like, I'll know if it's oil or if it's like, water. I also had bleach in there, so if the bleach mixed with something. And so I dip my finger in it real quick, not thinking it's pee. Spoiler alert, it's dog pee, because the boss's dog got in there while I wasn't in the office, because the kid opened the door and left it open.
Listen, if the kid tells you he tasted it and it smells and tastes dog piss, trust him.
This kid also talks about pee and poop all the time, nonstop. He sings about poop just while he'll be sitting in my office singing about poop.
You think that's why he might not have had a problem with tasting it?
Yeah, probably. But I hear about it all day, so I'm like, okay, anything to him is going to taste like dog pee. It could be anything.
No.
And he also tried to taste.
You should
acetone.
have said anything is possible for him.
Well,
you looked at that the whole wrong way.
Well, hold on. Can I finish? It gets better.
No, I doubt it does. Go ahead.
I guarantee you it does. Okay. So I realize what it is, and I clean, because he finally tells me that he saw the dog go in there. And I'm, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, how did this dog get in here? Because I thought the dog was in the other office. So I clean this stuff up. I clean the barrels off. I use the Lysol and everything on it so my office doesn't smell bad. And later on, I've completely forgot about this now, not paying attention to it. And then I wanted to tell the funny story to one of my coworkers. And he goes, well, how do you know it wasn't the kids? Because this dog hasn't left the office all day.
Oh.
This was after the kid was talking about having to go to the bathroom for half an hour. And I'm pretty sure either what happened is the dog did get out and they got it back and he didn't know about it or something and the dog peed on it. Or we were joking on the way out of the office that it might have been the kid and I had to clean up the kid's pee all over my oil jugs. Yeah, this was after I started my day by I'd been up for less than half an hour. I get in my car to find a frog sitting on my dash that I then had to try and catch and get out of my car, which I wasn't able to catch, but I was able to get him out the window, which then he got on my rear view or on my side mirror and climbed. He might still be in there. He climbed behind the mirror and he stayed there.
Can we back up? Teacup, did he just say that a child may have peed on his stuff at work?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen. I'm more concerned with the fact that the kid told him that it was piss.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, nah. And then tells me that all this kid does is talk about shitting and pissing.
Didn't you say the child tasted it?
Yes.
Oh, he knew it was piss.
He knew what it was. That's why. And he wanted to say something.
And he told you.
I just want to say a girl would never.
No. So there was that, but then also like this kid also caused.
I would never. I'm a man. I would never.
I can't imagine.
I take your word for it. I don't give a fuck. It's on the outside of the thing. I don't care. We're just gonna spray some bleach on it and clean it up.
Like,
I don't need to touch. Why did you need to touch it?
Because I thought it was oil. Because I looked and I was like, oh, I think it's oil. But I wanted to know if the oil had mixed with water or anything, because that would mean there's water in the jug and I need to refill it. So I touched it real quick and like did like a swipe with my finger to see if it was thick like oil, and it was not thick. And my first thought was, oh, the oil got mixed with water. And then I started wiping it up, and I was like, no, that's wiping up too easily, and the oil wouldn't.
It was piss, dude.
Yeah, I realized.
But you can look at it.
Way too late.
Watery oil does not look like piss.
This oil was brand new, though. That's what I'm saying. I had just pumped it, so it was still that golden color. It's 2550. If you know what 2550 looks, it's the same color.
No, piss and oil don't look the same. Dude.
I wish I could implant the picture in my brain into yours, because I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, it looks like the oil. You
could have taken a picture.
I was a little busy, dude. I was a little busy cleaning this stuff up quickly, so that first the kid wouldn't get into it and it wouldn't smell bad.
He's not telling me the story about how he had to go to the emergency room because he lopped off his finger from getting some other man's piss on it.
Or DCS was called because you took it out on the kid.
No. I didn't even think about it.
It wouldn't be the kid's fault. He told him.
Where's the child's mother?
Oh, she was 2 doors down in her office the whole time.
Did you tell her what her child had done?
No, because I was like, I would rather just clean it up, deal with it. And
well, he still doesn't know if it's dog piss. That dog's
exactly
get out of there.
I don't know if it was the dog.
This is why you should have tasted it.
Absolutely not.
I mean, to be sure.
How would you know by taste?
I don't know. The kid knew.
That's a great question. How would you know by taste?
The kid knew.
Oh, I ask the kid all the time. He tastes things. I also today found in my inventory it was a leaking bottle of bleach. So, but I like came in to check it in because I didn't realize it was leaking. I put it on my desk and then realized there was bleach on my desk. So I go, hey, buddy, go over, and I just point. I'm like, hey, can you stay over there so that you don't get this on you? He goes, okay, and he stands over there for about half a second while I turn around to go grab the paper towels to wipe this up. In that time, he comes over and licks it off the table.
The bleach?
Yes. I did tell his mother about that one.
And how did she react?
And she was like, how much was it? And I was like, a drop?
I think we found the issue.
And the other thing, he also said that tasted like dog pee. So there was that precedent. He says everything that's slightly sour or whatever, or spicy or whatever, tastes like dog pee, because that's where his mind goes. He's 6 years old.
I wish you would have tasted it.
I feel like
Absolutely
this is
not.
a very good segue into what I wanted you guys to cover today, which are the 20 unspoken rules for gentlemen, which I ran across
You
on.
don't lick dog piss?
Maybe we should add a 21st.
And that you don't pee on things that matter?
Nah.
That you don't pee on things that belong to
I
people?
feel like the
you don't
period
pee
goes
inside?
after the word
you don't...
things. Don't pee on things.
No.
Just stop there.
No.
Well, no, because
As
what if you're outside camping, you know? That's why I didn't
all
say
right.
that.
As a man who has had several drinks and have then had to use the bathroom, I can say for one that I have peed on several things, and sometimes it's fun. And so
Life as a man is
that's
so different.
That's not what we got to fix here.
I mean, look, I've camped a lot, and like it's kind of fun to like pick a point when you're about to pee off a hill and like try and hit that. Dude, the most majestic pee I ever had was off of a abandoned fire tower.
I gotta be done with this, man. We can't be talking about majestic peas anymore.
Bro, abandoned fire
don't
tower.
Bro me and
it was
tell me
awesome.
about your peas.
Do we not remember what the last episode was about?
Oh,
I feel like that got worse than that.
You are not.
Do you remember the story I told you about when I first got to my platoon?
I think so.
And I had to go throw something away in the trash. We were in the field, and I had to go throw something away in the trash. And I walked in the only trash point, and it was the shitter. And
Oh,
there
I
was,
do
like, the
remember
5
this, and you had
toilets
that.
there,
Yeah.
and my platoon sergeant's sitting there with some other dude. Oh
I
my
do
God.
remember that.
Yeah,
You had to
man.
walk right by him with
I
their.
didn't walk by him. The trash can was at the entrance. So, like, he saw me standing there. And he was like, "Hey, you're my new FO, aren't you?" And I said, "Roger that, Sergeant," as I'm staring off straight ahead at the wall, you know? Like, he was to the right on toilet number 3. This other dude was to the right. All the toilets were on the right. There's no stalls. They're just toilets. So he was at like toilet. There's 5 there, 5 or 6, I think. He was at toilet 3. The other guy was at like toilet 2 or 4, however you look at it. So they were sitting right next to each other, and I think that breaks.
All the what?
I think that breaks the rules. I think.
Yeah,
at least 2.
There's at
least 2
There's a
rules.
few there.
And then he said, "Hey, you're my new FO," and I said, "Roger that, Sergeant." And he said, "Hey, don't you know it's disrespectful not to look at me when I'm talking to you?" And so I had to look at him while he was sitting there shitting.
No.
So as not to be rude to him,
Life as a boy is so different. So different.
So then he asked me to pull security on him and the other gentleman as they shit. And so I did an about face, and I, stood at parade rest, and I, was blocking the entryway, pulling security. And he said, "No, how can you pull security on something you can't see?" So I had to turn back around.
The things that we talk about on this show
It was pretty
alarm
funny.
me. They concern me. Okay. Anyway,
It was pretty funny.
there were these 20 unspoken rules for gentlemen, and I'm probably going to murder the guy's name who put these out there, so we're going to put it in the show notes so that people can find this man. It was on Facebook. His name is Rex Tuozo. It's Tuozo. Sorry, Rex. I don't know how to say your name. Anyway, rule number 1, and that you guys have not heard these.
No, I don't know what this is.
I wanted to hear what you guys had to say.
And I was specifically told not to look it up, so
That's right.
I didn't look.
Okay, number 1, never shake a hand sitting down.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
It's disrespectful.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because you're not putting in the effort to actually like meet the guy where he is,
What happens when you're taller or shorter? You're not meeting them where they are. But that's
You're
just
not
a
willing. You're not.
you-
They're not worth the energy to actually get up.
Yeah, you have to get up. You never sit down and shake a man's hand.
Mm-mm.
Never.
Would you do it to on purpose show disrespect?
Yeah.
If I
If there was someone you really like openly didn't like if you're in a group, right? And then that one guy comes in, and like everybody else stands up, you know, if you want to be petty, you stay sitting down. But like I wouldn't, because that's also, it's like, how petty can you be, you know?
So how do you guys decide the way you shake hands? Because, you know, there's the regular handshake, and then there's that dude bro thing you guys do where you like bump shoulders or whatever.
It's how close you are to them. Like how well do you know them? What kind of relationship do you have? Is it a professional relationship, friendship, like super close friendship? Like,
what happens if you think you're closer to the guy than the guy thinks you are? And
No,
so
you just you do.
then you just go with it.
Yeah, you do.
we don't do any of this.
I
just to
hug
be
my
clear.
friends.
You're a hugger?
I hug.
Teacup is a hugger. That fits.
Yeah.
I'm not really a hugger.
If you like somebody, and you care about them.
You didn't hug me when you got it to the studio today. Now I'm offended.
Well,
You
listen,
didn't hug him either. You didn't hug Chip. Are you offended?
No.
We're offended. I'm offended for both of us.
Okay. He was sitting down, didn't stand up.
I was not sitting down.
I saw you. And then
The first time I ask her,
And
the
I
first time
already-
I even said it before, because I said, look, when he comes
He
in the
did.
room, I'm going to have to stand up, so I'm not going to sit down yet.
He did.
Oh, that's.
So don't make me look bad. I was standing right there. I came out here.
I am a
I was
hugger,
grabbing
though.
my drink.
And I have already told you that your husband was here a moment ago. I'm afraid of him. I know.
Many are.
He's a teddy bear.
I don't give a shit. His hands are big.
He's a big guy.
He is. I'm not small. But I ain't that fucking big. You know? And so I'm not, yeah, we're friends. I like you. You answer my calls, I answer your calls. We're good.
Okay, rule number 2. Protect who is behind you and respect who is beside you.
I wouldn't say that's a rule. That's like a value or like a way of being, but a rule.
No, you got to break that down. What does that mean?
He went
Yeah.
on to say this emphasizes loyalty and honor. Protecting those behind you means safeguarding your family, friends, and teammates. Respecting those beside you signifies recognizing the equality and value of your peers.
Yeah.
Protecting behind respect. I think, you respect everybody.
Yeah.
I think until you're disrespected, you give everybody respect.
Yeah.
Obviously, I believe in protecting family and friends.
That would make sense.
Protecting. Yeah.
Given my history, chosen professions over time, I think, but for me, that's obvious. It goes without
I have a
saying.
question about your chosen professions over time when we get there. But okay, rule number 3. Never insult the cooking when you are the guest.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
Never insult the cooking?
Never.
Bullshit. How do they get better?
I knew you were going to say
How do
No
they
way.
How do they get better? For real. If you just sit there and this is so good, and it's fucking gross.
Because they'll know it's gross too, because then they'll eat it and they'll be like, oh, that was gross.
No.
But you'd also don't want to like
Can I
hurt 'em.
I don't care. Listen. People who are eating gross food, they stop and they say to themselves, hey, why am I doing this? And then they attempt to make it better. And eventually it does get better. So if they're eating it gross, that's because they don't know it's gross. Maybe they have taste buds out of whack or something. I think it's important that we tell them if it's gross.
Yeah, but like think about that, right? Let's say you make something, right?
Yeah.
You grill for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. For a group of like 20 people.
Yeah.
And then you all sit down, everybody starts taking a bite. And instantly everyone just is like, oh, this sucks. Nah, this ain't it. Like that. Dude, I'd be like, the heck? I tried hard,
I don't give a shit. If they said, hey, man, your burgers suck. I say, well, okay. It's not asshole to tell somebody their shit sucks. It's asshole to tell somebody their shit sucks and then that's it. Like, if I didn't think your food was good, I'd be like, hey, man, your food sucks. You should probably add some of this or some of this. Here's a book. This will help you. I don't like if we're friends, right? I got to be able to say whatever. We're supposed to be friends. You got to be able to trust that I'm going to give you honest opinions and point you in the right direction.
Well, from a friend, yeah. I'm just like, if you go over to somebody's house, or a
shit,
friend
you
of a
ain't going to
friend or a
somebody-
friend of a friend or whatever.
Oh, well, then I don't do that. So
Exactly. It's
so that's why I didn't.
is
didn't
there an
understand.
explanation on this one?
I don't do all that.
It says showing gratitude and respect for hospitality is essential. Criticizing the cooking is disrespectful and ungrateful, especially when someone has gone out of their way to host you.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's ungrateful.
These are all friends. If it's like I wouldn't host people for like a business meeting or something. We go somewhere. But I got friends at my house.
I tell you what, after watching all these TikTok videos of how people prepare food in their homes, I'm not eating at other people's houses anymore.
What do you mean?
Listen.
Oh, they do crazy things.
Yes, they do. Listen. If I ever invite you to dinner at my house, just know
You don't even hug me, so I'm sure you're not
got him. Listen, I'll definitely cook for you. See, your husband's not gonna beat me to death for that.
You think he's intimidating physically. He's an amazing cook. So what are you going to do then?
Dude,
so
he's
so
the-
am I.
he's
Maybe
the one that
maybe
cooks.
him and I can like battle each other.
I'm sorry, she can't cook. Like there's a few things she can make. She can bake. You ask her to bake anything, amazing. But
He's
there's
not
like
wrong.
3 things that she can cook. But this dude, he looks in the pantry and goes, "Yeah, let me just make a 5-star meal out of random things I have in the
and
pantry."
you guys told her she wasn't a very good cook. So
I'm not.
So now she doesn't really, but she does know that she's a good baker. Stick to your strong suit. It's okay.
Amen.
It's okay. It's not gonna end the world.
Or you can be me and suck at both.
You'll get there.
No, you're not gonna, because we're gonna fix that.
You're a youngin'. We should totally do an episode where you teach him how to cook.
Just simple things,
That'd be
man.
fun. I know how to make a few things.
We
So like, so grilled cheese. But here's the thing.
Oh.
Hold on. I don't go, not just the cheese. I'm talking like I'll go and like put meat in it and stuff too. So it's actually good. I'm good at pancakes. I'm really, really good at pancakes. Basically I've got 1 breakfast, 1 lunch, and 1 dinner. Oh, actually I can grill anything. I'm really good on the grill.
You're good, man.
We're doing a video episode. That'll be a YouTube episode.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? The next one is a little related to this. Never eat the last piece of something you didn't buy.
Yes, you never do that.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Why?
Because you didn't buy
It's
it.
not your, yeah.
Is that true in families?
I tell my son, if I have, like, because I don't like, I drink Pepsi. You know, I like Pepsi. I'm a Pepsi guy.
Mm.
But I like it in the bottle, you know? So, like, I buy and I like the 20-ounce bottles. You know, it's something about holding the bottle, the size and everything. I don't know. That's the tism. I don't fucking know what it is. So I have to have those bottles. If I have a couple in the fridge and I drink one, as I'm drinking that, I look at my son and I'll be like, "Hey, you little bastard. I got one Pepsi left right now." I said, "That better be there until I go get more and replenish it, you know, or, you know, that's mine, you know."
It is a rule in our house too. We know what belongs to whom, and you can have some, but don't take.
I've ran into
or
issues
if
like
you
this.
want, if you really want it, at least ask. And we have a thing in our family where, like, you know, it's good to say no. It's not going to be a weird thing. Like my thing is I really like ramen. So, and my little sister does too. So it's like she learned very quickly, don't take the last one without asking. And usually I'm cool with it, but there are times where I'm just like planning to have that ramen when I get home because it's easy and it's good. It's terrible for you, but it's good.
I don't know. It's got a lot of sodium in it, I guess.
I like to not use the packet though, because that's where all the sodium comes from. I like to use the noodles and then kind of like make my own thing with it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I really want to know what Teacup has to say about this one because you have been looking at boats to buy boats.
Yeah. I'm going Saturday, by the way.
Nice.
I'm going to buy a boat Saturday.
Nice.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, let's see if you follow this rule then. Never make the first offer in a negotiation.
No. There are times where you need to.
Yeah, I don't.
Dude, like if you're buying something off Facebook Marketplace, right? Like if they've got a really good deal on it, okay? Let's say like they've, you wanted to buy this car, this cheap beater car, and it's like $5,500 or something, right? And you look at it and you go, I'm willing to pay $3,000 for it. Offer them $3,000, especially if you already know what it's worth.
Hey, Wednesday, what's the idea behind that last one? What's his thought process? Because this is like you're not planning. I think he's saying this because you want to try to get the best offer that you can get, and so that you don't want to go in. You want that person, man or woman, to tell you the price that they're thinking.
That's right.
But they could
That's
still,
what he's saying. It says, letting the other party make the first offer can provide strategic advantages. It gives you insight into their expectations and can help you negotiate better terms. So like in your example,
or it can screw you over.
what if they were, well, and we did this, I've done this in buying cars where you go to buy the car and you know what it's worth. You looked it up ahead of time. But if they give you a price, it could be hundreds to thousands of dollars less than what you would have offered.
Okay, I disagree with this gentleman.
Oh, okay.
Because I think if you are looking to purchase something like a boat, car, or something like that, where you need to do research into what it is you're buying. You go in there knowing that either you're going to buy it for the price that's already on your mind, and like don't worry about who's getting the better end of the deal. Like so I'm going to buy this boat.
Mm-hmm.
If I say, hey, they got it listed. Most places like Facebook Marketplace, Chip was alluding to, they list for a price. Mm-hmm. So they already have something in mind. So they say, hey, I want $10,000 for this boat. If I was saying to myself, I'm only gonna pay $8,000 for this boat, I'm not gonna sit there and haggle. I wouldn't even go look at that guy's boat because I'm not gonna sit there and argue with somebody. I'm all set.
There's more stuff. There's always more stuff.
Peace of mind is more important. I'm not. If the boat's worth $10,000, if I have $10,000 to go spend, and I'm gonna say, hey, I want this boat. I go there, I look at it. It's worth $10,000 to me. I'm gonna go, hey man, deal, $10,000.
You're not going to try to get it for $9,800?
No, I don't care. I'm not gonna sit here and I don't care.
I don't want to lowball people because also in the age of Facebook Marketplace and in the age, even if you want to go buy a car or something, right? Which is why I bought the car the way I did, because it was just a set price. But like, people are greedy naturally, right? So the person who's selling it,
I don't want to say people are greedy.
A lot of people are greedy.
Paint with a broad brush, Chip.
That's true. So people that are going to sell you something like a car or a boat are going to try to get the most money they can for it. So if you come at them with an offer saying, I'm willing to do this, and you lowball them, they're instantly going to be like, nope, I don't want to. I'll find someone else that'll pay for it.
Or if they've got a boat listed for $10,000, to use Teacup's example, and you only want to spend $8,000, they might be perfectly willing to come down to $8,000.
So
you make that offer.
So if this is something similar to what I did, there was a boat I saw, they wanted a price for it. I went and looked at the boat. I like it. I don't think it's worth what they think it's worth, and I have a tiny bit of experience about this now. Very small amount, but still experience. Mm-hmm. And I think it's worth what I offered them. They accepted, so it worked out for me. But if they would have said, "Hey, no, we want a little more than this," I wouldn't have done it. I'm all set.
So you're both saying it doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what you offer, because you already come into the negotiation with an end result in mind, and that's where you start, and you're not moving off of that.
Listen, I can't miss something. I cannot miss something I never had.
Yep.
I don't care. I'm going to cry about $300. If I never had that $300, it wasn't an option to me. I don't care.
See, versus like if there was a $10,000 boat and I got it for $8,000, I'm going to love that boat even more.
No.
Because I'm going to be like, look,
I won't care.
Look at the deal that I got. I'm a bargain shopper though. So
I wouldn't care because in the end, to me, it would be about the boat, not the price of the boat. You know?
Exactly. So I know
it's about what you're buying.
I know what I wanted. I know what that is roughly going to cost me. And then I went and found something.
And you planned accordingly.
Yeah. Always, you have to research.
Being a boy is weird.
Yeah. Hey, listen, men, if you listen and pay attention to that shit, research. You don't just go into something blind. Have a price in mind. You're firm on that price. If they don't meet that price, then you walk away. It's okay. It's okay.
Yep. There's
Don't
always
sit.
more stuff.
It's not worth sitting in there and haggling, and we're not doing all that bullshit.
Okay, next one I think is a given. It's don't take credit for work you didn't do.
Oh, never. If
would-
you didn't do it,
Yeah.
then that means you're taking from somebody else, which is probably on there. You don't steal from people.
Okay, this next one is odd. Take the blame.
For what?
If
No.
Yeah.
For what?
It says,
Did you do it?
No, I don't fucking take the blame.
And it also-
For what? What are we talking about here?
well, it's similar to the last one. It says take the blame and give credit when due, which I think is what he just covered. It says owning up to mistakes and recognizing others' contributions builds respect and trust. It shows maturity and leadership. So I guess that begs the question: if you're on a team and whatever the team creates is wrong, do you take the blame, even if you're not the team member that made that happen? Maybe you're just one of the team members that led to that wrong.
You shouldn't have to take all the blame, but you take what's your part of it. You know, you don't try and get out of it. If you messed up, and you just acknowledge it. You messed up.
Yeah. If
You learn from it.
you only take the blame if you're the fucked up party.
What if the person who is to blame is not taking the blame?
Then you go like this. Hey, that fucker right there.
I wish y'all could see him. He's
And then
We have
and
to start
points
videoing
across
these.
the room.
that fucker right there. Because what did we say? This is for men, right? This is the 20 rules for being a man. That fucker right there obviously isn't a man
For
or a
being
woman.
a gentleman.
Or a gentle lady. So guess what? You don't want to be part of the team? That fucker right there did it, sir or ma'am or whatever. Point that fucker out. I don't care. Some people, and I think, in your age group, Chip, and then definitely like when I was growing up, like snitches got stitches. That was the fucking deal.
Yeah.
But if I didn't do the dirt with you and I'm about to get in trouble for it though,
Yeah.
that ain't snitching, Chief. That's you being a bitch and not taking whatever kind of punishment's coming your way. You're going to let me take the fall? Oh, hell no.
Yeah. It's like,
Now-
I'm not going to get you called. Like, I'm not going to go and seek out the,
Now,
whoever I should tell to. But at the same time, if I'm going to get in trouble, no.
well, no, I'll point right at him. Right at him. That person right there did. But if
Once they start asking the questions,
If I did the dirt with them, then no, you can't point them out. You would have to take it then.
What if somebody on the team...
If somebody got me, like if I got caught, like if I was robbing a bank, and you were on my crew, and I got pinched, I'm not gonna be like, oh, for a sweeter deal, hey, who was with you? I'm not gonna be like, oh, Chip was with me. No, that's snitching. You wouldn't do that.
What about if someone on your team takes blame and they're not really the one that should be taking blame?
I'd call that out. I'd be like, nah, it's not your thing to do.
What do you mean? What would I say to that?
Would you do anything, or would you just be like, well, that has nothing to do with me because I'm not the one to blame?
Is it a friend of mine taking the blame?
It's
I'd be
just
like,
your team. Like, say it's at work.
You're an idiot. Why would you do that?
Oh, I was assuming they were friends.
See, nobody would have to take the blame because if I knew who it was, I would be like, this piece of shit right here. I'm going to be honest. This is why I'm not in like a corporate setting. I can't. I can't because there's people like this.
Well, I will say
I've done this. I've done it.
As
You would
women, we
hate
take
my
blame.
office.
I mean, we even get blamed for our own rape. We take blame all the time for things that are not our fault. And so we're just sort of conditioned to do that. And so what happens in the workplace is the team messes up and the men don't step up. And so the woman is like, I'll speak for all of us.
You know, it's funny. Like,
In
and
other
that's
words,
true
guys,
because-
step up and y'all should stop doing it. Like it's it ain't worth it.
No. I tell my if I tell my wife or something like I'm, hey, it was a rough day today. I think I stubbed my toe. It was terrible. She'll go, oh, I'm sorry, and I do that. I'm like, what the hell are you sorry for?
Mm-hmm.
Was you the chair?
Because we're conditioned to
She put the chair in front of you.
fix your world for you.
You know, and that's funny because you think that that's fixing the world. You say, hey, I'm sorry. But I'm the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I'm a solution guy. It's like we were talking about earlier. If my wife comes to me and says, hey, I'm having a rough day, I stubbed my toe, I say, show me that chair. I'm gonna fucking break it, But I think that's what kind of makes us a little different here. But to be a man, or gentleman is not, don't take the blame. And if I knew somebody that was taking the blame for some bullshit, I would tell them don't you do that. Forget that. I'd rather us all have a group punishment of some sort than one person get in trouble for something they didn't do.
So
Yeah.
you don't think that it is a gentlemanly thing to do to take the blame if the blame is not yours?
No, I think the gentleman thing to do is tell the person who is the offending party to fix themselves and announce it. And then if they don't, what kind of team is this? What is this? Is this corporate setting?
Yes.
Am I just a plebe or something?
Well,
A
okay,
what?
you were in the military,
Yeah.
so I'm sure some things went wrong. You were a private security contractor. I'm sure some things went wrong and people were to blame.
Yeah. And we that was a different world. That's not corporate. That was a different world. We harassed the fuck out of that person. Bad.
Do you think that worked? That was effective?
I mean, listen, if you fuck up and you get enough shit for it, you don't
You're
fuck
not
up
gonna
no
test
more.
again.
Yeah.
So maybe we go back to that. Go back to
Throwing rocks at people. I'm down.
I don't want to stone people.
If
But
they messed up that bad.
if they that's a little too much. Stoning? Let's just,
or we could look at it as a learning opportunity.
how about open hand slap?
They will learn. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Y'all are
fair.
so harsh. Okay, rule 8. If you are not invited, don't ask to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
There's a reason they didn't invite
fuck
you.
that. I would ask.
What if they just forgot you? I get
No,
forgotten a lot.
Then that means
so-
you're not valued enough. Then that's not your group.
No, I would be like, hey,
Teacup's like, what about me?
no,
Right back here.
you're gonna tell me, you're gonna fucking tell me that I'm worthless and not invited. I want to hear it. I want everybody to be uncomfortable.
Well, this one seems appropriate to Teacup given his background. The rule is always aim for the head.
Oh man, this is
You're taught to aim
this is
center mass. I
this is a
thought.
loaded question. You are center mass.
Well, his explanation is this metaphorical rule
Oh.
Yeah.
can apply to many scenarios, implying that you should strive for excellence and precision in your efforts.
I don't like it the way it's worded.
Me neither. That's a little too much, bud.
Yeah.
But if it means like always do as much, do your best work, yeah. I think that's what he means. Is like
But that
basically
doesn't
don't
work.
be lazy.
But you guys both just said that's not what that means. You don't aim for the head. That's not the rule.
Yeah, then.
No.
Well, I didn't know what he was talking about. He's talking about
What do you aim for?
Center
center
mass.
mass.
Right here.
But I thought he was talking about shooting. Oh, he's aiming for the head. Now.
I was like,
Why
what?
we're shooting people? We're hunting humans.
Well, I think that's what he is playing off of. Maybe he just doesn't know that you physically don't aim for the head when you're shooting.
I just wouldn't say like, hey, if I'm looking to achieve, I wouldn't be like, if I am going to address a group of people, I wouldn't be like, hey, you guys are doing great, but as you're doing great, you got to think greater. And when you want to think greater, what do? Aim for the head. Like, you know?
Dude, the group would be like, yeah. What?
Yeah.
Especially given what has happened in our nation these past 2 days.
I also wouldn't say aim center mass. I wouldn't even say aim.
I wouldn't
anyway.
say that. I thought he was talking about something different. I don't like his analogy.
He's saying like do your best. Like do your best work, which I mean, don't be lazy.
No, aim for the head stupid. I don't like it.
Okay,
obviously do your best work always.
Yeah.
Then how about just say that?
Okay, so I'm interested to see if you both agree with this one because one of you is married and one of you is not even in a relationship.
Hey, don't gotta call me out like that.
The rule
How's
is
Pamela doing?
Nobody's supposed to know I'm married yet.
How's Pamela?
oh, ouch.
That hurt a little bit.
The rule is don't beg for a relationship.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't know nothing about this.
I don't. I'm not. I'll say it. I don't have enough experience.
You want to hear something crazy?
I'll say I'm not begging for a relationship right now.
If something went
I'm too busy for that.
awry in your marriage, you wouldn't beg for the relationship?
Beg?
Listen, I've told too many people this. Life is a one-way street in a lot of respects. And I just feel like personally, for me, that's a one-way street. We can't come back. If you are not the person for me, then you're not the person for me. And if it is something so drastic that we're talking about begging.
What if you really messed up?
I need an example. I don't know what a big mess up would be.
I don't know.
I was in California one time and I was at this weed store. And and one of the bud tenders.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
I'm sorry the way you said it.
One of the bud tenders. Yeah. I want to make sure we enunciate it properly, give them their respect.
That is a new job goal unlocked. I'd like to be a bud tender.
Listen, I looked into it. I'm not even fucking lying. I looked into it because I thought it'd be cool. Listen to this. You hang out with super cool people all day.
I bet.
Have a bunch of wild stories. Everybody it's sales, right? Sales fucking sucks. Retail sucks. Everybody knows that. I guarantee you being a bud tender does not. Everybody's super cool.
Well, because also everyone wants to be there. It's not like like if you work at Walmart where people like, oh, I gotta go grocery. You gotta want to be there.
Some people want to be at Walmart. I don't want to sell them short.
Who wants to be at Walmart?
Some people.
Who?
I don't know.
I say this as someone who worked at Walmart in college back when it was a good store.
Dude, even when I worked at that hardware store that's got, like, I worked in the fun department, and there were still people, I would get these people come in, be like, oh, can you help me find this? I really need to get this. It was, like, people didn't want to be there, even though I was selling them things that they didn't need, that they wanted.
Anyway, you walked into the weed store.
And I was browsing, looking at things, and I heard one of the bud tenders telling another bud tender. I couldn't help it. They were talking so loudly. But she was saying how she missed her girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And she wishes she could have her girlfriend. I was like, as I'm browsing, I'm like, excuse me. We don't ever do that. We don't ever do that.
Do what?
We don't miss and wish and hope and beg like that. We don't do that. It lowers our own value. Our value for ourselves, our value that other people see us, their perspective of us. We don't do that. If they're not for us, if we already separated and we moved on, I think that everything we can learn from somebody, sometimes it's quick. Sometimes that doesn't last long. But as soon as you know that that's not going to be able to continue, That's it.
Are you talking about just romantic relationships? Or all of them?
All relationships. It doesn't matter if it's romantic, friendships, family. There are some people, you know, and this isn't for everybody, but, you know, for who it may apply to. You're sitting at work, or you're sitting with your girlfriend or your husband, or, you know, whatever the case may be, and you're sitting there thinking like, man, this is fucking awful. This is the reason why this is awful. The only way this is going to get better is if I got to beg. No, I'm not. No, we're not doing this. Or if I can't sit here and my wife sit there and we're good in our space, my wife's not going to sit here and hate me. We wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. No, it's a one-way street. Why? You cannot spend. How long do you want to be here, Chip?
On this earth?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see 80 years.
How do you want to spend any of that time fretting over something that was lost? Probably wasn't even really there to begin with.
I feel like, too, if you've gotten to the point where you need to beg, it's over.
It's over.
It's not a relationship anymore.
I had this guy, it was before I met my husband, and he was like really into me. He proposed and the whole thing. And so it just wasn't a match. It just wasn't, you know, he was a good time and that was fun, but moving on. And so I tried to move on. And this man was in my driveway begging, tell me what I can do.
And
tell me what I can be. And that was never
how
going
sexy
to.
was that?
Right? There was not anything that was going to make me turn around and go, oh, well, now that you're begging me.
I would never.
He begged
that
and
would
cried.
make it worse. He cried?
Well, hold on a second.
But I love you.
Hold on a second. There's some cases where it's all right to cry.
Oh, I know. But I'm like,
This isn't one of them.
he's out there crying?
It was bad. It was like neighbors could hear. But why? Don't leave me.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that gentleman learned from that experience, and then, you know, for the folks listening, like, that is not a winning look. And even if you felt that way, you need to tell yourself, stop. Why? That person doesn't feel the same way, and it's okay.
And I wasn't going to after that.
Yeah, you know,
I
yeah.
thought-
Nobody's like, oh shit, they were on their knees crying and begging in my driveway, embarrassing as fuck. Let me go get some of that.
And, you know, I had the boyfriends who were, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. And I would think, like,
Oh, I had
really?
one.
You had one of those.
I had one of those.
Oh,
Not a boyfriend.
that's, you know, so my wife was in visiting family, and then she, you know, they were all over. My daughter looking at colleges and stuff, so they were all over. And I call my wife a lot, and in between these calls, I was thinking, like, this is like borderline abusive.
What is?
What?
The number of times that I call my wife.
We do roll our eyes a lot when that happens.
And I was feeling bad about it. I was like, damn, like, I'm like probably ruining the trip. You know, she's trying to have fun with the people that she's there with. And I'm over here just telling her about how I, you know, accidentally tripped on, you know, a piece of grass or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Did you tell her that?
No. But like the stuff I do have to say to her, really most of the time is dumb shit. So, but I didn't want to have to get into it.
It does drive us a little bonkers.
But I did tell her that on the next call that I made to her, I did tell her that I was thinking like that. And she said, no, it's not. It's not abusive.
It's not abusive.
She
it's
loves
just, me. It's just like,
She
I
thought
could see it getting
can you
annoying.
not go 1 hour without
but-
calling?
oh, it wasn't that
Not
bad.
abusive.
It was like, you know, I call her when I wake up in the morning. Yeah, well, I wake up early as fuck. So I would call her at like a respectable time, like 8:30, you know. And then I would talk to her for a little bit, and then she'd go hang out, do her thing. And then I'd call her at lunchtime, you know. And then I'd call her at like, you know, noonsy.
Oh.
Yeah. 11sies, whatever the fuck.
You,
I'm just saying, absence does make the heart grow fonder.
You know, and that is a true statement. However, When I need to talk to my wife, I need to talk to my wife. But anyways, no, yeah. But listen, I would not beg. That's embarrassing. You're not gonna win like that. You don't win anything like that. And you lower your self-value, because then when it doesn't work out, you're gonna sit there and think, like, man, there I was begging like a fucking asshole. And then like that's gonna weigh on you. Oh my God, that sounds awful.
Imagine if I had turned around and said, okay, well, now that you're begging, okay, we can be together. It's great.
Oh.
That would have been the first time in history.
Then I would have lost respect for you. I would have been like, God, that worked on you.
Well, and how, like, the dynamic
does that
in the
work?
relationship. No, it was so unattractive.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, has that ever worked in the history of ever?
I think because my feeling anyway in the moment turned to pity, and it's very hard to then be in a romantic relationship with someone that you pity them, and it really turned into pity.
But I have heard of this thing where they say that shit's abusive as fuck. Don't be one of those people either. That's gross.
One of what people?
If you leave me, I'm gonna kill myself. I'd be like, do it quick. Good luck. I'd be out.
Oh my God!
Oh my
I
God!
didn't say that.
Oh.
Yikes! I was
Listen,
concerned.
I'm not-
I was
No, you
calling
know what I
friends.
said?
I was like,
I'm
go
not-
sit with him.
I'm
You
not.
know what I said?
You cannot let other people weigh on you. This is your life.
Yeah, but imagine what you would feel like when that happened. It was
Yo.
one of the guys, okay, lots of marriage proposals. This was another marriage proposal, and I was like, this isn't going to do for me. I called his mother, and I said, you are going to need to go sit with your son. Because imagine.
Well, you could do that.
Imagine if I had just left him and he probably would have. He was very unstable. Now imagine if he had ended his life. Imagine how his mother would feel. That girl over there, my boy fell for her, and she knew he was going to do this, and she didn't do anything. Again, we go back to the blame. Who would be blamed? Not him for ending his life. I would have been.
You want to talk about this one right now? We'll talk about this one right now.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of people that have killed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. If somebody to me says, hey, you're going to make me kill myself, for whatever reason, this is my life. I only get one of these. If somebody wants to use their life to kill themselves in my name for something that I cannot be responsible for, which is their life, that's their business. I got to be responsible for my life. I am not equipped to take care of psychiatric needs. So yeah, you did the right thing. You called somebody. So yeah, do that if you can. But that kind of behavior is abusive.
Mm-hmm.
It was very manipulative.
Oh yeah.
But you have to think this is your one and only life.
But I also don't think I don't. If you choose to use your life and to end it prematurely, if you choose to end your life, that's your business. Am I sad? If I know the person, yes.
But don't you want your life to also be one that could have prevented the premature ending of a life?
It's up to them.
I mean,
there's a reason it's called killing yourself, and that's why they would say it that way, is you're going to make me kill myself. That's the...
Right, I get that, but that's just a psychotic moment. It's going to pass. And so if you can be an individual who can get them past that moment.
It's not my my job.
Again, like I would say, I'm not equipped to handle those psychiatric needs. I'll be like, hey man, I'm not gay, I wouldn't be a man, I don't think, but maybe. I don't know. But
you're gonna be begging in your marriage.
Yeah, I was about to say. Good thing she's not here this time.
But
I mean, but you guys are compassionate. If you could prevent someone from
of
ending.
course, like I said, I have friends that have committed suicide. Quite a few, actually. A lot of people I know. A lot of people I served with. And it's fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said it. Man, I wish I would have known. Here's the thing. Some people are they're so hurt by this life, or they're so down about this life, and they do get psychiatric help. But it's also like in your, like how you look at the afterlife. And a lot of people don't like suicide based off of their religious perception of things, and that's cool. To each his own. I don't look at it like that. First off, I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in hell. So, like, if somebody were to do that, I mean, I don't think they get a chance to come back. You know, reincarnation might not be for them.
What do you think happens when you die?
I think you go to heaven.
You and I have talked about this before.
I think you go to heaven. I think I think you go to heaven. But
What do you think heaven is?
I think it's whatever you perceive it to be.
So I'm going to be thin and eat all the chocolate cake
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should do a whole episode on
What do
that.
I mean?
But think about that. If that's the case,
what do you
then
want heaven to be? I don't know.
if everyone's going to heaven when they die, why wouldn't everyone end their life now?
Because this life is great.
Because in this life,
I mean,
this
not
is
for everybody.
Because this is the only place where random could happen, where you can experience things that you've never experienced before. Because think about it, if all you've got is what's left in your head, then you would never experience something new.
So we talked about the egg theory.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the egg theory?
It's that you get reincarnated. Like I can live my life as me. Then I can live my life as Chip. Here's the thing. His life is always the same. He's going to sit here with me and you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to talk like this. None of this changes. It would just be me. I would be experiencing life through his perspective. Because he is seeing things and learning things that I'm not aware of because I'm seeing life through my perspective.
Do you think it's limited to human beings that you come back as a human or anything?
Oh
living?
man, there's something so cool about Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think that you can come back and be an animal. I'd like to think that you have a choice.
But do you get it? It begs the question though, like, are there certain animals then, or certain people that then know? Because if you're coming back,
So
as you.
So here's the thing.
I don't think you're coming back as you.
Because even if you look at it through like Christianity, when we're sent here, right? We're supposedly souls in heaven that are sent here. Do you remember heaven? You see what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that that's...
If you talk to youngins, if you talk to 3, 4,
Yeah.
5-year-olds, they'll tell you about... And they say that it's because they're not far enough removed from the memories of where they were.
So my
grow.
daughter did that. My youngest
Really?
daughter. Yeah, it was creepy as fuck, but I loved it. And so I would try to get info from her about the olden times. I love it.
Why is Daddy asking so many
Creepy
questions?
as fuck. But if it's just like Christianity, because I'm not stepping on anything. If you believe what you believe, everything's cool to me. To each his own. If it's like Christianity and we're a soul that gets sent down here, in every life, like how I said, where I'm living my life through my perspective, now I'll live it through your perspective, and we'll go through everybody's life. We're gaining knowledge here until we can become a superior being ourselves. That's the egg theory.
Why is it an egg?
Because you're it really has nothing to do with an egg, but
Of course.
you're
So we just call it an egg theory.
as a young soul, we're not ready to be an ultimate being. I don't want to say God, that doesn't feel right. But we're not an ultimate being until we've lived all of these lives. Now, back to the original question about being like the animals and stuff. Do you know? You don't know that you were in heaven prior to this. You don't remember it. You couldn't tell me who your friends were. Just like if you went into a dog when you pass, you can't tell me about heaven or your life as Chip, or you would just be the dog sitting there enjoying life from that perspective. And you said not everybody has a great life. And I don't like to do that. I like to say everybody has a great life because, like I said, we all live for these moments and these different things that we're learning from each other, and that's great. You know, it's not always pretty. You know, there's some hardships here and there, but we're learning from those hardships, so it's still great. Especially if there's something after this and we need this knowledge. Of course, it's great.
But there are those lives that are not great consistently the whole time.
Yeah, and that happens. It's an experience.
So in that instance, going with your philosophy, the best thing you could do would be to end that and get to the next life.
No, because then you don't get all the knowledge that you can.
Yeah.
All the knowledge from the horrible hard life.
Well, here's
Because you get knowledge no matter what.
So I also believe, so I said I don't believe in hell. I believe we're here for knowledge and to have these experiences, life, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that our lives are predetermined. Like when we die, that's already known. You shouldn't shorten that. Because like Chip said, we're supposed to have all these experiences. Now, as I say that, right, I also notice that suicide would be...
Mm-hmm. What if that's what's known?
And then
that's how that was...
That's
you have
what
to
that
assume
is.
that is what's known, right?
That
was known.
That's what their life is. That's why, like, I cannot be like, oh, man, you know, yeah, I lost a friend, but I'm not going to be like, you know, this is the end of my life. And, no, I'll remember the good times we had, all the moments and memories and all that shit. It's all good. We learned. He was, you know, great friends, whatever. And we're going to move on. We're going to take those learning moments with us. Hopefully you're passing this shit down to somebody else. You know, these experiences like we're doing right now. I'm
so
telling you.
So you think even if someone dies of an accident or something that others would look at it and go, that is a premature death.
I don't.
You're like, nope, that was the death that was meant.
It was meant to be.
By virtue of it happening, it was meant to happen.
It was meant to be.
You're awfully quiet, Chip.
I'm absorbing the knowledge.
I don't like to sit around and like a lot of people worry about stuff like this. I don't want to do that. It's very freeing.
Like I've only known 3 deaths in my life. I mean, I've known a lot of deaths in my life. I've only known 3 deaths that struck me as that wasn't supposed to happen that way. And those are the ones that still live with me of that was a mess up. That wasn't supposed to go down that way because that's how it resonates with me in my being of nope, that wasn't right. That wasn't right. That wasn't supposed to happen that way. But what you're saying is, yes, it was.
All right, yeah. So I asked my wife once because I try to be introspective and I try to think about my life and I try to think about like bunch of crazy shit that, you know, is impactful and, you know, try to make sense of things. And I was asking my wife one day and I said, this is why I don't believe in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Sweetness, do you think Judas is in hell? And she said yes.
She said yes?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Because he betrayed Jesus. There's a lot of Christians that believe Judas is in hell because he betrayed Jesus. He's a rat fuck and...
Is that what they say?
But I can't believe...
Can you imagine a pastor up there?
I can't believe that because I said, Sweetness, how do we have the Romans finding Jesus and crucifying him if we don't have Judas snitching?
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't have you wouldn't have a Jesus character without that.
You need that. You kind of need that part to get to the other part.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Otherwise, he's just a really cool magician.
Yeah. So, you know, hating Judas for, you know, scoring some silver and ratting out Jesus. It was supposed to happen. But
what about like, you know, children who get leukemia and die? You think that was supposed to happen that way?
It's supposed to happen. It's sad. It's terrible. But
But that's what was
That's
supposed to.
Well,
life.
even think about the emotional knowledge, right? That you would gain from that. That every party involved in that person's life would gain from that. The
But I
different
don't-
feelings that they would experience, the different,
Not-
the stuff they would know.
So it can't just be about that one person. That's their life, right? So if we're talking about, that's so gross. Because little kids and cancer. If you guys
'cause,
listening want to donate and help out, St. Jude's
St.
is a
Jude.
click away.
Mm.
But
So, for instance, this is what I'm thinking about before you tell me this.
okay,
So I have a mom friend. One of her sons got cancer. That mom did, of course, everything that she could possibly do
Yeah.
to help that kid beat cancer, including, they were taking off limbs. I mean, they were doing everything they could to save this kid's life. He still died. Never even got to driving age. He still died. And it so wrecked her. She had 2 other children. And she couldn't be there for at least a year. This woman was not. She has pictures of where she just is laying prostrate on this child's casket, laying prostrate on the ground once it is buried. She could not, because she was so. She was in that moment of this was not supposed to happen. It destroyed her family. Her marriage ended. I mean, so I look at that and I go, okay, maybe she did learn some things from that. Obviously, she had emotional experiences she would not have had otherwise. But was that worth her marriage, being present for her other children?
all of that was supposed to happen.
And all of it was knowledge.
And
As much
all
as
of
it
that-
sucks,
All of it was
in the
lear-
meantime.
So your friend. So the experience wasn't just your friend. The experience was her
Right.
husband.
Right.
The experience was the other 2 kids. The experience was the kid that died.
All the people who watched it
Yeah,
and
so it's-
felt for her.
There's all these people are looking at this happening, and something is happening with them.
Mm-hmm.
Something I tell my son every day, you're gonna do something amazing. I know it. I don't know what it is. I don't know when it'll be. I don't know anything like that. But I know I'm looking at you. I know you're gonna do something amazing someday. And who the fuck knows? Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. Maybe what he does is inspire somebody else to do something amazing. Who knows? But everything's supposed to happen. Everything that happens the way it's supposed to happen.
So nobody can make any wrong decisions ever.
How can you?
see, I'm on the other end of the spectrum.
So we have choices in life.
I think everything's random. Because here's the thing.
it can't.
Let me ask you:
things
if
can't
everything,
be random.
sure they can, because if things had to happen, that would mean that there is something or somebody that set that in motion, that said that these things have to happen.
See, I believe in an all-knowing, all-powerful God, who's
And
already
that's where
seen
I
your
differ.
life
I
play
don't.
out. So if He's already seen your life play out, all the
So where did you
your
come from?
decision making.
Why does it have to be a he?
Or
Can we
where did
back
they
up?
come from?
You know what? I'll go with a she. I could go with that. That's fine with me.
Honestly, it's probably if there is something like that, it wouldn't be a he she. It would be a
Back to what you were saying, like
thing.
where's the randomness or where's the choice? The choice is in you. The choice is to you. You have a choice because in front of you you see it, but there's somebody already
But not
knows.
But you
really.
already made that. But something
you
made
already
that
make
choice
the
for you.
choice. You're gonna make a choice, and it's gonna be new to you.
But it's not going to be new to whatever
It's
wrote
not
it.
gonna
But
be new to
but see, that
whoever
doesn't-
created us.
that would mean that there would have to be something that controls everything, not just with us, but let's assume even down to
Not
the shape.
controls. Not controls. You don't have to control.
If they said or knew that or set in motion that this was going to happen, that would mean that they controlled it. They set it in motion. If I push a ball,
Control.
I controlled the ball to
No,
go
no,
that
no.
way.
Control means that you are. No. You pushing the ball is you're just a force acting on the ball. Controlling the ball means that you are going to continue making it go in this direction.
So are you saying you believe in a God that set things in motion, then took their hands off and said, okay,
It's going to play out.
But somehow at the same time,
he or she knows
set
what's
that
going to
in.
happen. They already know this.
Well, that would be a really cruel God.
No, it's not cruel.
Oh my gosh, look at what's going on in the world, even in our lifetimes. What the suffering, the needless suffering, people die, children dying of hunger in the streets, sex trafficking. I mean,
so if you look at it like the egg theory, it's not needless suffering.
Okay.
Because we're supposed to learn something
How
so that
about-
we could then become.
What 6-year-old, by being repeatedly raped and sex trafficking, that is not a lesson that anybody needs to learn. There's nothing there that needs to be learned.
So for the 6-year-old, I agree with you. But
Okay, but that God
for the
set that in
person-
motion, and according to your philosophy.
but I see where
Hold
he's
on a
coming
second.
from because
For
the
the
person
person
that comes after.
that comes and gets that fucker that did it. You see what I'm saying? That's it. There is something for that person, or there's something for this person in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a very Old Testament view of God where some human beings are simply pawns to teach people lessons.
Not pawns. You know,
What's that 6-year-old in that scenario?
not a pawn. I don't mean it like that. Because
Well, because
it's so
because
gross.
here's the thing: in the very next life, that same 6-year-old, that same energy,
is going to be the person doing.
could be the person that
Raping.
gets the guy,
Well,
or
according
or
to-
is the
Or is going to-
rapist, or is whatever.
According to Christianity, there is no second chance. You've got one life. It is appointed unto man once to die.
We're
that
talking
is
about the egg
scripture.
theory.
Yeah, but I
But
don't.
he was talking about the Christian God a minute ago.
Well, so just so everybody's clear, I don't believe in hell. So I mean, I guess I couldn't really be a Christian because I think it's kind of necessary for that religion to believe in hell.
Some of them say you don't have to. Progressive Christians don't say.
Yeah, I mean, then are they really Christians? What's a Christian then? There's so many different ones, and they
That's true.
I don't know what it means.
I'm just fascinated that your philosophy is that there is a God who not only set things in motion, but predetermined how all of those things would interact. And then that God is not held accountable for the horrendous things that are happening to innocents in that scenario.
But they're not innocent.
They're
A
not.
6-year-old
They're-
being sex trafficked is innocent. I'm
they're
sorry.
innocent right now, but in the next one, that would mean that they might not be.
Based off of how we perceive our life on this planet, yes, I agree. Innocent as fuck. And we should slay all the pedophiles. All of them. And that's fine. I would not miss them.
So under that philosophy, the end goal is that we just keep getting better and better and better to where eventually we don't have those kinds of things, because every time somebody comes, they're learning and they're coming back better every time. That actually, does that hold true to,
We're-
are we better as humanity today than we
So-
were 5,000 years ago?
So that's what
No, we're
Buddhists
different.
believe, though. Buddhists believe that they come back, they gain all this knowledge in every life that they have, and they come back, you're a cricket one time, you're a little girl the next time, you're a little boy the next time, whatever. And all of those lives lead to enlightenment.
And when you get to enlightenment, you don't come back?
You wouldn't need to, but
Because
I
you know
imagine
everything.
so there's only one enlightened being, and that's Buddha that we know. But maybe, and then, just hear me out here, maybe every other I'm at a loss for words now, string theory, galaxy, universe, every other universe. Oh God.
There we go.
Like there's
I
different
was like,
dimensions.
what are we doing?
And perhaps you live all these lives in this dimension, and you're a mighty being. I don't want to say God. It sounds gross to me, and then you're the one that creates this life so that other beings can gain knowledge and whatever it is that they need to gain knowledge in, so that they can be, it just keeps going.
To put
Who
this
knows?
in,
I don't know what.
to
I
put
don't know
this
what
in
it
Gen
is.
Z terms, basically you got to collect experience to level up, and you keep leveling up until you get to the max level. Is that the idea?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, we've been going a long time and we need to conclude, but I have one more question for you guys.
Okay.
So if there is, well, this would not be, I guess, for you, Chip, because you don't believe in an all-powerful being in control of all this, right?
No.
But you
I
do.
don't think it's possible.
Right?
I could.
Okay. So if there is an all-powerful singular being that set all this in motion and knows where it's all going at any given moment, why is it that all-powerful, focus on that word, all-powerful being, can't figure out a way to simply start existence with knowledge that you're telling me right now we can only get through pain and suffering? Why can't we just start with that knowledge? Why do we have to have 6-year-olds being sex trafficked to pick up that knowledge?
Well, then maybe
or
they're not
children
all-powerful.
dying of leukemia, or rape victims, or any of those things. Why can't we just start with that knowledge? To use your phrasing of gaming, why can't your character already have that capability? Why do we need to suffer? If the God is all powerful, wouldn't the God have that capability to start the character, the human, with that knowledge?
Let me ask you this. How sad were you when you heard about Sandy Hook?
Horrendously so.
Okay.
But according to you, that
But
was
you went-
supposed to happen.
It was. But you, the next day, and I'm not trying to be like mean or anything. I don't mean to I don't advocate shootings. I wish that this almighty being told our Congress to put some kind of order in to stop this kind of shit. Mm-hmm. That would be dope. Mm-hmm.
Because that would mean they already knew what the best solution was, too.
Well, no. Only the all-powerful knows what the solution is.
So that's what I'm saying.
But
Why'd you bring up Sandy Hook?
the next day, you went and did your thing, right? You went to work and did your thing. You know, the day after that, did the same thing. Day after that, all the way to Parkland. How sad were you in Parkland?
Very.
Okay, again. And then the next day you went to work and you did your thing and we forgot all about it. We got to do our own thing. We got our own things on our mind. We got this and that. We find it very easy to forget atrocities.
Well,
We
we
can move
acclimate.
on.
I actually just listened to an episode on the Hidden Brain podcast about this morning, how our brain, it's like if you come into a bakery and you smell the cookies and the bread and it all smells so good and it's wonderful, but within about 5 minutes, you don't really smell it anymore because our brain literally acclimates. And that is true emotionally and psychologically as well. Meaning, like, if you were in an abusive situation, and I speak to you as an abuse survivor, it doesn't feel like abuse after a while because your brain acclimates to this new reality. Is your argument that, okay, we should just acclimate to suffering?
Not that we acclimate
I don't
to it.
think we can.
Because you
would think it would.
Like,
it
I
would
don't want to
happen.
grow accustomed to school shootings.
We're not gonna. Nobody's gonna, and you shouldn't.
But why do we have to have them in the first place? Like, your argument is, well, that was supposed to happen. And I'm like, why can't we have a universe where that doesn't need to happen?
And we do. Somewhere. And we're gonna be there someday.
So shouldn't we all just
Stay
end?
there?
You're advocating
We
for
can't stay
suicide.
there.
We all should just end these lives and get to the next one.
No, I don't advocate suicide because I want to learn everything I can. I want this life to end when it's supposed to. So I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't know. But we're not doing it right now.
Also begs the question of how do we know that at some point in our lifetimes that solution could come and it would never happen again, and we can always work towards that.
That's where I struggle with suicide, because what if you were supposed to be the one? That's why I think suicide is an irregular, not planned ending, because what if you were supposed to be the one who was going to get that law passed to prevent the next Sandy Hook, or going to find that way to treat leukemia, or going to find that sex trafficker? Your potential to make it better is over because you ended your life.
But
maybe not, because at the same time
why do we stop there at
towards-
suicide? Every time you drop a bomb, you end the life of a potential person
I
who
agree.
cures leukemia. But we do it all the time. Oil's more important than cures for leukemia.
Oil's worth more than blood.
Yeah. So, or diamonds or whatever other bullshit we find interest in.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, and I like to go. I try to put out good vibes. So. Good vibes come back to me.
Unless your food is bad, and he's going to tell you.
But I don't think that that's bad.
Yep.
I don't think that that's bad. I'm helping you. I'm doing you a favor.
I'm waiting on my dinner invitation. That's all I'm saying. I feel as if I'm not going to get a hug,
It would
which
change.
is fine.
Dinner would change your life. I'd make a.
Not bitter.
What are we gonna make?
I would eat at
thinking-
your house. I don't eat at many people's houses, but I would.
Well, listen, I have a background in food.
But I don't like sauces or
He's a
condiments or any of that stuff. I don't eat any of it. None. Ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, pickles. I don't eat any of that stuff.
Her order at McDonald's is literally a cheeseburger, plain, literally meat, cheese, nothing. Occasionally,
The
onions.
English
That
burger.
is true. Even if I'm at some high-end restaurant, I love burgers. So even if I'm, if I'm at a nice burger place, not just McDonald's. Sorry, McDonald's. It's still I want meat and I want cheese and I want.
McDonald's
bread.
knows what they are.
There's a reason they haven't changed the formula in
Or
so
like
long.
steaks.
They found their niche.
We don't use sauce on steaks.
Like
Gross.
A1?
No, gross. We don't use dressing on salad. Then you can't taste the vegetables.
You can. It tastes different.
You just
Trust
taste
me.
dressing.
No. It tastes different because all of that together culminates into a completely different experience.
No, I can smell the dressing on the salads at the table, and it messes up how the vegetables taste in my mouth.
I'm like that with hot sauce. Because I can smell the vinegar,
Ugh.
and I'm just like,
Meanwhile, I can barely smell or taste anything, so I got to put hot sauce on everything.
we went deep today, didn't we?
We
did.
did.
God
We
damn
did.
it. I'm leaving.
You cook, I'll bake, we'll have a great meal. It'll be fine.
And I'll enjoy all of it.
And that's probably meant to be.
I mean, if it happens, I'm
And then me going into a coma from eating too much. Yep.
like, if it happens,
It's meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Okay, there are 10 more rules, but we'll hit them in the next episode.
You know,
We'll do a part
I've almost died a few times myself. I'm not just saying this lightly, by the way. Just
You're
me.
walking around with this thing in your head that
So we try not
just
to
don't worry about it.
take it too seriously. We just go with the flow of things.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Chip, I miss you.
You miss me?
Yeah, sometimes. All right, I'm leaving.
Good night.
Good night.
This is Teacup Talks on the 1C Story Network. School Teacup on the power of Patreon by joining the group at patreon.com/Teacup Talks. Or just go to teacuptalks.com for listen links and more. That's teacuptalks.com.
The 1C Story Network, for the love of stories.